All right, I'm going to lead by saying that I believe in Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, and all of my standards come from this here thing called the Bible. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to thump you over the head with it, but this is where my standards come from. Why? Because this has lasted thousands of years. And I know people are like, well, it's just man-made and written. Maybe very true. But at the end of the day, you have a standard, and if that disqualifies me from speaking to you upon this subject, that's not my problem, because you do not pay me, you do not fuel me, you do not fund me, you do not do anything worthy in my life anyways. So comment and make me more money. Speaking of money, I'm going to share with you my P.R.O.F.I.T training right now. Reason being, I've been gone. You'll probably see that it's been a while since my last video because life got busy. This isn't my first thing. This just adds extra income for me. But I love you, I care about you, and I want to make sure that you get everything I can share with you. Now, what this training is there's two sides of every coin. The way I've described it to my personal clients, my consulting clients, is that you are always leading yourself to some form of profit or loss. Literally, you have to look at life like it's a business. There's profit, loss, there's no middle ground. If you make the same income year after year after year, it's actually less now because your buying power is less based on basic economics and inflation. While we're in an inflationary state, that's what you're getting. So there are two main systems that every man runs. Not 5, not 10, 2. It's like basketball. And I love, if you are a millennial like me, you'll remember the Even Stevens episode where main character's friend says, no, there's no kind of. It's like basketball. You either made the shot or you missed the shot. There's no middle. Look at any worthwhile sport. In football, did you get over the line or not get over the line? In baseball, did you hit the strike zone? Did you not hit the strike zone? Did you hit the field goal? Did you not hit the field goal? In life and business, did you make money or profit? Did you lose money or profit? And I define profit as anything in your life, your business, your marriage, whatever it may be, where you are gaining. Plain as that. So there are two systems you run. There is R.U.I.N.E D and P.R.O.F.I.T. Now, I don't know if this is going to show up correctly, but I'm going to go super ghetto. Actually gave me a great idea. I could put a whiteboard here and do it there. Actually, I'm going to consider that later in life. Right now, this is my pitch to hopefully get Rocketbook on my side. You know, if you want to sponsor me and be one of my first corporate sponsors, shout out to y'all. Now, here's the whole system. Now, if you screenshot this, you can have it. I've posted this everywhere. I can send it to you. But what I'm going to do is, like, honestly, there's going to be a sale at the end of this where I'm going to show you the basic training here, where I call it Profit or Perish, which is a PDF guide that compiles all of this. But I want to run through both of these systems, which I call R3. Now, the reason it's R3 is super simple and easy to remember. I don't have to be super creative with it. R3. That's it. So I like to think of things as foils. There can't be good without bad. There can't be light without dark. There can't be heat without cold. You have to have something. There's no, I guess technically there could be an iPhone without Android, you know. There's internet, there's no internet. There's always, what's it called? Disparity. There's always a contrast, right? I can see far, I can see near. It's close, it's far. Things like that, right? Stanley versus Yeti. I'm actually a Yeti fan. Anyways, let's go run through these two. So there's two versions of the R3. If you see me here, I'm looking at notes because I tend to go off on things, and I want to make sure that you get this as quickly as possible because this is YouTube. Your attention span is shot, and you have no idea how to pay attention to anything more than 10 minutes. So I will give this to you as fast as I can to make sure it sits with you. That way you actually pay attention to the whole thing because you don't need a 100-step course. You don't need a 10-step outline. You just need to get the point, right? So there's the P.R.O.F.I.T R3, and then I call it the R.U.I.N.E D R3. That's literally how I broke it down. Like the acronyms P.R.O.F.I.T, R.U.I.N.E.D. So when you think about the problem in your life, whether it's you don't make enough money, you're not having enough intimacy, I don't know what words YouTube it doesn't let me say, whenever there's a quote-unquote problem, I see it as a prompt. Hence why this program, why my coaching consulting is called, and I shifted towards prompted to profit. God did not place you here to struggle and worry. If you struggle and worry, it's usually because you choose to overthink and worry. You are anxious because you overthink things. You choose to worry. It's like we have friends who question, am I a good person? Why are you asking me? Like, why does it matter what I think of you? Like, do you think you're a good person? Like, you're overthinking it. When you want to ask a girl out, you literally walk up to her. Like, I walked up to my now wife and said, hey, do you want to go dance? Don't overthink it. You talk yourself out of it. You'll never talk yourself into something. You'll always talk yourself out of it. You want that steak meal that costs $50, but then you start to look at, well, no, you want that steak and lobster meal that's $75, and you're like, oh man, that looks really good. But this smaller version, just the steak without the lobster, has shrimp on it, it's 50 instead of 75. Maybe I'll go. You start to talk yourself out of things. Like $25, if you're paying $50 for a meal and you think $25 is going to break your bank, you shouldn't be out there anyways. You should be focusing on making more money. Plain as that. And this is actually how this training helps you. When you start to think of your life in binary, because there are times where there's gray area, right? Like no one's ever perfect. No one's ever totally off. Like there are very, very, very few people who are perfect. There are very, very, very few people who are ruined, right? Like I tell my wife, I think you're perfect for me. I think you're perfect for me, but she has her flaws, just as I have plenty of my flaws. Looking like I'm starting to, my hairline's receding as people put out. I got teeth that are like horse teeth, but super healthy according to the dentist. I'm not perfect. And I will never portray myself as perfect. There are things I want to learn to admit to say that I am not good at. But teaching and training how to make profit in life is something I'm great at. Hence why I'm on here and why I can speak this way. So there are two systems you run through, R.U.I.N.E D and Profit. Again, broken down, there's a profit mode and then a R.U.I.N.E mode. When you think about R3, the reason I put out R3 is that when you think about profit, there are three core pieces. Let's start with the problem. The problem is you're overthinking things, you're learning in a default loop of chaos, of burnout, and broken trust, right? So that starts with reacting to things, reducing your worth, and then you regret it. Think about that time you wanted to ask that girl out. What's actually something else? You ask a girl out, and she says no, and then you start freaking out like, whoa, but you have no idea how much money I have and not how awesome I am. You just reduced your status. Or you're at work and you're having a conversation where someone kind of challenges an idea that you think is great, you bring it up, and they say, what about this? Did you ever think about this part? You're like, well, you know what? We thought about that and it doesn't actually make a difference, and blah, 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 blah. You react. And when you react, you're not actually considering all the ways. You're reacting from how you used to be. When you think about the R3 from the R.U.I.N.E perspective of the react, reduce, regret cycle, you're actually acting in a way that you have trained yourself. All the things that you do right now are a reflection of what you used to do. Like your body right now, like I didn't just all of a sudden go work. I love doing this once a video. I didn't all of a sudden just get biceps yesterday. I did a lot of pull-ups yesterday, but I didn't just get biceps today. Versus this is maybe, I know someone's gonna come out and be like, oh, weak. 10 years of training that has built me up in a way where I don't have to work out hard and I still can maintain a decent physique. Everything that you do now is based on that past. Your bank account now is a reflection of what has happened in the past. When one of the things I was doing was career coaching, and the salary that you take right now is a reflection of your value you provided yesterday in hopes of what you can do later. Most of the time, the salary you make right now or what you signed up for is not a reflection of what you can make tomorrow. Just like even if you work sales, like when I was doing sales and I sold $15,000, $18,000, $20,000 programs, you are able to sell those levels of programs because in the past you are comfortable selling $500, $1,000, $2,000. Because when you think about buying a $20,000 program, what does that bring up in you? That reaction is based on your past. Hence the R.U.I.N.E cycle, the R3 of react, reduce, regret. So you react to something, you reduce your status, and then you regret it later. It's kind of like one time, dating advice for y'all. I once asked a girl out, and she said no. There's two ways you can say, there's plenty of girls that said no to me. There's two ways you can think of it. Hey, awesome, it seems like you're really busy right now at this time. If you're ever interested and you want to go out and hang out with me over here, I'll be here. That's it. You have not reduced your status. You straight up say, here's the invitation, awesome. And one of the core concepts I like to teach my consulting clients is, this is an invitation, not an obligation. You're not obliged to watch all of this. You're not obliged to read all of this. It's an invitation. I'm gonna share this with you. If you choose to implement it in your life, awesome, go for it. God be with you. Just like in the beginning when I said Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, and if that negates me from being able to teach and train you and you shut yourself off from because I have a different view from you, that's not my problem, that's your problem. Actually, it's not even your problem. That's your prerogative and you can do whatever you want in life. Which doesn't make sense because I'm talking about that now. If you made it this far, you probably are one of the people I want to work with. No. So I told her, hey, but before I had to learn to not be like, oh, well, what about next week? It's just like a sale. Like when someone says, I'm not interested, there's a balance between, hey, you have my number, you have this, if there's any information I can give you, let me know and I'll shoot it over to you. Versus, but you know you need this because your business is this. There's how you do sales is how you do sales. If someone says they're not interested, I'm not gonna waste my time trying to bark up that tree if the signals are just showing they actually aren't interested. right? So you're reducing your status. Once you reduce your status, you beg, and then you lose the sale. Guess what you're gonna do? You lose the girl. Guess what you're gonna do? You regret. Now I have to share with you the default loop of the chaos, the burnout, the broken trust, because you have to understand what the ruin mode looks like. When you react without thinking, you reduce yourself, your confidence, your influence, your standing with society, and you end up regretting it. And this is a loop you step in. Most of the time when you ask someone like, what do you regret about life? There's like, oh my God, all these things. But then when you ask someone, hey, what are you grateful for in life? It takes them a while to be like, my teeth? Which you should be. If you have healthy teeth, there are people with dentures. There are people who weren't born with teeth. There are people with crooked, I got crooked teeth. And I look at people with cleaner teeth, I'm like, oh, nice, good for you, man. Like, where'd you go? You just gotta ask. So 2 systems, same loop, they both go towards an outcome. Every decision you make doesn't stay stagnant, it makes an outcome. If you spend your money here, you're not spending your money there. If I wear these Costco shirts because I have a baby now, and spit up is hard to clean off cotton, and I don't want to clean like cotton over and over again. Even better, I wear Lululemon. I don't wear Rory. I don't wear Nike. I hate Nike stuff because it all wears out on me really quickly. I'll pay double for Lululemon because it lasts me longer. So the decision to pay more now means that later my profit is I can wear the same thing over and over again. The stuff I like, I can buy more of it. I know it lasts. I have shorts that have lasted me 10 years without like the little ruffles between your thighs, thick thigh problems. And I made those choices versus when I choose to pay cheaper, like I'll go on my wife will go on Shein and I'm like, okay, well your shirt ran through because you bought it off some Chinese knockoff Alibaba store. They pay a little more and it'll last you longer. Or I have $100 leather boots, or no, that's cheap. $100 leather, actually I have $1,000 leather boot and $100 leather belts. And they last me, and they've lasted me like 20 years, 15, 10, 20 years. Because you pay more up front, but it lasts you longer. So I'm making profit, but the fact that I don't have to pay over and over and over again. Because I choose to live in an intentional loop, which is the profit pathway, or the R3, which is to recognize, reframe, and redirect. So if you notice, there is react, reduce, regret. That's one cycle, and that's typically the cycle that we all default to. The other side is you recognize, reframe, and redirect. When you can recognize a problem rather than react to a problem, you start to reframe the problem for solutions. Once you've reframed for a solution, you then redirect your energy. You can complain. I tell my clients, you can complain all day. Go for it. Complain, talk about it. But if you complain, I want to hear a solution out of it. If you, like everything that you see in life that you enjoy, this iPhone was based on the fact that someone had a complaint somewhere and someone decided, I'm gonna fill that hole. I'm gonna fill that gap. I like my Yeti stuff. I've been using Yeti for like 20 years before it even like shipped off to like made in China kind of thing. It's at least made in the Philippines back in the day. My cousin somewhere made it. And then someone was like, okay, there's no handle on it. So you kind of have to hold it like this the whole time. And when they're this big, they weren't this big, you know. When you're this big, there's a problem there. So Stanley, which used to be sold at Walmart's as a working man's company, decided, oh, let's make a cup with this on it at fun colors. Women jumped on it, TikTok blew it up, and these are now almost as popular as Yeti because they saw a problem. I can't hold it like this all day. Solution. Even then, I'm a Yeti fan, but sometimes I'm like, okay, this is amazing. And they're the first ones to really do it. I know there's Tervis. I love Tervis because they're made in America. Hell yeah. But I like metal. I like steel. Plain as that. So, let's talk about the profit pathway now. Again, when I say profit, I don't literally mean money, but there are ways, and I learned it from Garrett J. White as my coach and Sean Whalen and Lions Not Sheep as my coach. There are 4 domains in your life: power, passion, purpose, production, body, being, balanced, business. As I used to teach it, family, focus, future, and finance. I can't remember anymore because I started going to body, being, balanced, business. All of them work together. They're 4 core domains. If you're not healthy, you don't make money because you can't show up to work. You can't mentally show up. If you're not right in the mind, I personally believe in the Bible as my standard. If you're not right in the mind, people don't want to listen to you. People don't want to listen to you. People don't pay you. In your relationship, if you're fighting with your spouse and your partner, how do you think you're going to show up in your sales calls that day? Probably not very well. And then in business, literally, like if you can't speak money, influence, persuasion, you're not going to make any money. Plain as that. Now, the reason I put this together is because I wanted to share that with you. I wanted to put this out there as a test because I do this with my own personal clients, and I wanted to share this with you to see how far this goes. If this really resonates, there's going to be a sales page on the bottom where I can give you the profit or perish framework. Now, I'm going to read out The first part, so profit to perish, how men stop losing ground and start building a life that wins everywhere. You're going to get the little framework that shows with results. And one of the key things I want you to remind you is remember that you're one decision away from being the one who leads with clarity, not chaos. Actually, no. I'll go buy it. Like, it's going to be like $7 or $9. I just put it together because I was like, okay, I have to speak the same thing over and over again to the same clients, and I might as well just put it all together so I can just send it to them, pre-frame, and when I do consulting, I can just say, hey, read this. If this jives with you, awesome. If you read it and you don't like it, awesome. I'll give you your money back. I don't want to work with you. You don't want to work with me. It's fine. Live and let live. Now, plain as that. Okay. It's been a minute. Missed y'all. Love y'all. Be better. Choose better. Choose to look at the bright side of things. Choose to seek profit in everything that you do. And I'm not, if you're someone who thinks like, oh, money is evil, like, you're not my people. Plain as that. You need money to survive. Mother Teresa had funders who donated to her charities. If you have a charity, like I tithe my money to stopping children's abuse and trafficking, and it costs money to do those things. Plain as that. Peace, love, and light from wherever you're watching and listening. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. This is Lawrence, signing off.